Picture this. You're boarding your flight, feeling confident about your travel outfit, when suddenly the flight attendant stops you at the gate. "Sir, I'm sorry, but you can't board wearing that." What you thought was a smart travel choice just became your worst nightmare, and you're about to miss your flight. What most travelers don't realize is that what you wear on a plane can literally be the difference between a smooth journey and a travel disaster. From safety regulations that could get you kicked off the flight to clothing choices that turn a 6-hour flight into pure torture, the wrong outfit can ruin your entire trip. Airlines and aviation safety experts have identified specific clothing items that pose serious risks to passenger safety, comfort, and even health. Some of these might shock you. We're talking about everyday items that millions of Americans wear without thinking twice. In this video, we're breaking down 13 clothing choices that experienced travelers and aviation professionals say you should never wear on a plane. By the end, you'll know exactly what to avoid and why, potentially saving yourself from embarrassment, discomfort, or even serious safety hazards at 35,000 feet. 1. Flip-flops and open-toed shoes. Here's something most passengers never consider. In an emergency evacuation, you have just 90 seconds to get off the plane. Flight attendants and aviation safety experts are unanimous on this. Flip-flops and sandals are among the most dangerous footwear choices you can make. During an emergency, passengers often have to navigate through debris, broken glass, or even flames. Open-toed shoes provide zero protection for your feet. Even worse, flip-flops can easily slip off during the chaos of an evacuation, leaving you barefoot on potentially dangerous surfaces. Captain John Smith, a veteran pilot with over 30 years of experience, puts it bluntly. "I've seen passengers lose their sandals just walking down the aisle during normal turbulence. In an emergency, those same shoes become a liability that could cost you your life." The Federal Aviation Administration doesn't officially ban flip-flops, but flight safety experts strongly recommend closed-toe shoes with secure straps or laces. Your feet need protection, and in an emergency, every second counts. 2. Synthetic fabrics and polyester clothing. This one might surprise you, but synthetic fabrics like polyester, nylon, and acrylic are considered dangerous by aviation safety professionals. The reason? These materials melt when exposed to high heat and can literally fuse to your skin during a fire emergency. The National Transportation Safety Board has documented cases where passengers suffered severe burns because their synthetic clothing melted during aircraft fires. Unlike natural fibers like cotton or wool, which burn and char, synthetic materials turn into molten plastic that sticks to skin. Fire safety. Expert Dr. Michael Rodriguez explains, "In aircraft fire scenarios, we've seen synthetic clothing cause third-degree burns that wouldn't have occurred with natural fiber clothing. The melted material creates a secondary burn injury that's often worse than the original fire exposure. The safest choice? Natural fibers like cotton, wool, or linen. These materials may catch fire, but they don't melt and fuse to your skin like synthetics do." 3. High heels and dress shoes. Ladies and gentlemen, those stylish heels or slippery dress shoes might look professional, but they're a safety nightmare on aircraft. During emergency evacuations, passengers must use inflatable slides to exit the plane. High heels can puncture these slides, potentially trapping everyone behind you. Flight attendant training specifically covers this scenario. Sarah Johnson, a flight attendant with 15 years of experience, explains, "We're trained to tell passengers to remove high heels before using the emergency slides. But in a real emergency, there's no time for shoe changes. Those heels can puncture the slide and turn a manageable evacuation into a deadly situation." Even during normal flight operations, high heels are problematic. Aircraft aisles are narrow, and turbulence can strike without warning. Passengers in heels are more likely to fall and injure themselves or others during unexpected turbulence. The solution is simple. Wear comfortable, flat shoes with good traction. Save the dress shoes for after you land. 4. Tight-fitting jeans and restrictive clothing. Tight clothing might look good, but at cruising altitude, it becomes a health hazard. The reduced air pressure in aircraft cabins causes your body to swell slightly, and tight clothing restricts blood circulation, significantly increasing your risk of deep vein thrombosis, DVT. Dr. Patricia Williams, a vascular surgeon who specializes in travel-related blood clots, warns, tight jeans and restrictive clothing are among the leading risk factors for DVT during flights. The combination of immobility, cabin pressure, and restricted blood flow creates the perfect storm for dangerous blood clots. DVT isn't just uncomfortable, it can be fatal. When blood clots form in your legs and travel to your lungs, they cause pulmonary embolisms, which kill thousands of travelers each year. Medical professionals recommend loose-fitting clothing that allows for natural body expansion during flight. Your comfort and health are worth more than looking fashionable for a few hours. 5. Metal-heavy clothing and accessories. TSA security checkpoints have become increasingly sensitive, and clothing with excessive metal can turn your airport experience into a nightmare. We're talking about jeans with metal studs, belts with large buckles, clothing with metal zippers and grommets, and shoes with metal shanks or decorations. Each piece of metal on your clothing can trigger additional screening, pat-downs, and delays. TSA agent Mark Thompson explains, passengers wearing metal-heavy clothing often spend 10 to 15 minutes longer in security screening. During busy travel periods, this can mean missing your flight. But the problems don't end at security. Metal clothing can also interfere with aircraft navigation systems in rare cases, and it makes you more likely to be struck by static electricity in the dry cabin environment. The smart move? Choose clothing with minimal metal components. Plastic buckles, fabric belts, and metal-free shoes will get you through security faster and more comfortably. 6. Shorts and short skirts. Aircraft cabins are notoriously cold, with temperatures often dropping to 60 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit during flight. Wearing shorts or short skirts means you'll be freezing for hours, but that's not the worst part. The real problem is hygiene and safety. Airplane seats are cleaned infrequently, and exposed skin comes into direct contact with surfaces that thousands of other passengers have touched. Flight attendant Maria Gonzalez notes, "I've seen passengers develop rashes and skin irritations from direct contact with seat fabrics and surfaces." During emergency situations, exposed legs are vulnerable to cuts, burns, and abrasions. In evacuation scenarios, passengers often have to slide down emergency chutes or crawl through debris, and bare skin offers no protection. Long pants provide warmth, hygiene protection, and safety coverage. There's simply no good reason to expose your legs during air travel. 7. Complicated clothing with multiple layers. Jumpsuits, rompers, and other one-piece outfits might seem convenient, but they become a nightmare when you need to use the airplane bathroom. These garments require you to essentially undress completely in a cramped, unsanitary airplane lavatory. The problem gets worse during long flights when you might need multiple bathroom visits. Flight attendant David Chen observes, passengers in jumpsuits often avoid using the bathroom during long flights, which can lead to dehydration and health problems. Additionally, complicated clothing with multiple zippers, buttons, and layers can slow down emergency evacuations. Every second counts during an emergency, and fumbling with complex clothing can be the difference between life and death. Simple two-piece outfits allow for quick bathroom visits and faster emergency response. Keep it simple when you fly. 8. Strong fragrances and scented clothing. This might not seem like a clothing issue, but heavily scented fabrics and clothing, treated with strong fragrances, can trigger serious health problems for other passengers. In the confined space of an aircraft cabin, strong scents become concentrated and can cause allergic reactions, asthma attacks, and migraines. Dr. Robert Martinez, an allergist who studies cabin air quality, explains, aircraft cabins recirculate air every few minutes, which means strong fragrances get concentrated and spread throughout the entire cabin. I've treated passengers who had severe allergic reactions triggered by another passenger's scented clothing. Some airlines have started implementing fragrance-free policies, and flight attendants have the authority to ask passengers with overwhelming scents to change clothes or even leave the aircraft. The considerate choice is fragrance-free clothing and minimal personal scents. Your fellow passengers will thank you. 9. Clothing with offensive or controversial messages. Airlines have broad authority to refuse boarding to passengers whose clothing they deem inappropriate, offensive, or likely to cause disturbance. This includes political slogans, profanity, sexual content, or controversial imagery. What's considered offensive can be subjective, but airlines err on the side of caution. Passengers have been removed from flights for wearing shirts with political messages, crude humor, or even certain brand logos that might be considered controversial. Captain Lisa Anderson explains, "We have the authority to refuse boarding to anyone whose appearance might cause disruption or discomfort to other passengers. It's not about free speech, it's about maintaining a safe, comfortable environment for everyone." The safe choice is neutral, non-controversial clothing. Save your statement pieces for after you land. 10. Loose, flowing clothing. Long flowing dresses, wide-leg pants, and loose scarves might be comfortable, but they pose multiple safety risks during air travel. These garments can get caught in seat mechanisms, overhead bin latches, or emergency equipment. During evacuations, loose clothing can snag on exit doors, armrests, or other passengers, potentially trapping you or others. Flight safety expert Tom Wilson notes, "In emergency simulations, passengers in flowing clothing consistently take longer to evacuate and are more likely to be injured, likely to get caught on aircraft fixtures." Loose clothing also poses hygiene risks, as it's more likely to drag across dirty airport and aircraft surfaces, picking up germs and contaminants. Fitted but not tight, clothing provides the best balance of comfort, safety, and hygiene during air travel. 11th, clothing that requires special care. Delicate fabrics that wrinkle easily, require dry cleaning, or can be damaged by spills are poor choices for air travel. Aircraft cabins are notorious for spills, and airline food and beverages can permanently stain certain fabrics. More importantly, if your clothing gets damaged during the flight, you might not have suitable alternatives at your destination. Business traveler James Parker learned this the hard way. "I wore an expensive silk shirt on a business trip, and a coffee spill during turbulence ruined it. I had to attend important meetings looking unprofessional because I didn't pack backup clothing." Choose clothing that can handle spills, wrinkles, and the general wear and tear of travel. Save your delicate garments for after you arrive. 12th, shoes that are difficult to remove. TSA security requires shoe removal for most passengers, and shoes that are difficult to take off can cause significant delays and frustration. We're talking about boots with multiple buckles, shoes with complex lacing systems, or footwear that requires tools to remove. But the problems extend beyond security checkpoints. During flights, your feet naturally swell due to cabin pressure and immobility. Shoes that can't be loosened or removed become torture devices during long flights. Emergency situations also require quick shoe removal before using evacuation slides. Shoes that can't be quickly removed can delay your evacuation and endanger other passengers. Choose shoes that slip on and off easily, can be loosened for comfort, and won't slow you down in security or emergency situations. 13. Clothing that doesn't layer. Well or see. Aircraft temperatures fluctuate dramatically throughout the flight. Cabins are often hot during boarding, cold during cruise, and hot again during deplaning. Clothing that doesn't allow for easy temperature adjustment will leave you uncomfortable for hours. Single-layer clothing without the option to add or remove layers is a recipe for discomfort. You'll either be too hot or too cold for most of the flight, and there's nothing you can do about it. Travel expert Jennifer Adams recommends, "The key to comfortable air travel is layering. You need the ability to add or remove clothing as cabin temperatures change. A base layer, middle layer, and outer layer give you complete temperature control. Plan your outfit with layering in mind, and you'll stay comfortable regardless of cabin temperature fluctuations." Conclusion. These 13 clothing choices might seem harmless, but they can turn your flight into a nightmare of discomfort, safety risks, and potential health hazards. The experienced travelers and aviation professionals who deal with these issues daily are clear. What you wear on a plane matters more than most people realize. The good news is that avoiding these clothing mistakes is simple. Choose natural fiber clothing that fits comfortably, wear closed-toe shoes that are easy to remove, skip the heavy fragrances and controversial messages, and always plan for layering.